ordinarily maybe you're pretty calm, but you just start snapping at people. You may worry. You may have difficulty concentrating. Behaviorally, you could, be not, kind of bitchy and not nice to be around, or you could be withdrawn and depressed. And then cognitive symptoms would be feeling like I'm a failure, or having difficulty thinking things through in a very clear or logical manner. So by carrying around the stress all the time, with your body constantly being flooded with the cortisols, adrenaline, and all these other hormones, you end up having physical and cognitive and social symptoms. One of the problems is when you have a lot of these symptoms, a lot of times it creates more stress because nobody wants to hang around with you. It may affect your ability to do well in school. It affects your health. So people then will try to find different ways to cope. Don't do these things. These are not good things to do to cope with stress. Things like drinking, abusing drugs, over or under eating, doing things that are very reckless, hurting yourself, being angry all the time, putting things off and not getting them done, and withdrawal. Because the reason these are unhealthy is that they create more stress and more problems for you. So these are things we don't recommend.
There goes my weekend.
There goes your weekend, yeah? So now, when we're talking about these as coping strategies, it doesn't mean like something disappointing happens, you shouldn't go and eat a piece of chocolate. It's what happens is if it becomes a pattern. That's when it's not healthy. So here's clue number one, or trick number one to use to help to cope with stress. If your body is relaxed, your mind is relaxed. If your mind is relaxed, your body is relaxed. You cannot have one be relaxed and the other tense. You can't have a relaxed mind and a tense body. You can't have a tense mind and a relaxed body. They both have to be either relaxed or either tense. So the trick is to figure out how to relax one or the other. If you can get your mind to relax, it'll relax your body. If that doesn't work, try to relax your body, and that'll relax your mind. So we talk about things like relaxation training. And there's a lot of different ways to do relaxation training. The one that a lot of people are familiar with is called progressive muscle relaxation. And this is where you tense up different muscle groups, release them very slowly, and then move your way up. Usually we recommend you start like with your toes, and you tense your toes, not so much that you get a foot cramp, because that's pretty stressful, but just tense them up, and then slowly release them. And then move up to your foot, and you tense your foot, and then slowly release it. And then your ankle, and your knees, and then work your way up the body. And that is very, very effective. The trick is you can't do it once and figure you got it. You have to practice this. Actually, you have to practice all of these for them to be effective. But progressive muscular relaxation is very, very effective. And it's something you can do right before an exam, and nobody in the class will know you're doing it. Okay? Deep breathing is another strategy a lot of people will use. Sometimes we talk about in with the good air, out with the bad. Some people say breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose. But basically, you don't want to huff and puff like an engine, because that'll make you hyperventilate. So it'd be like that. And I've worked with kids who had test phobia and adults who had other issues, dental phobia, things like that. And that's just a simple trigger, if you practice it, to be able to calm yourself, because you're calming your body, and it stops the panic, which is frequently associated with different phobias. But again, it only works if you practice it. So if you have a dental phobia, you don't start practicing it when you're in the dental chair. That's probably not going to work. So you basically have to learn how to do it. I use that quite a bit, and all I have to do is take one deep breath, and then I can feel myself relax. But I've been doing it a long time. Visual imagery is also really, really a fabulous strategy. Visual imagery, pick a place that you like to be. For some people, they imagine themselves walking through the forest. Now, this is a magic forest that has no bugs or snakes, right? Nothing that's going to stress you out. Or you're on a beach, and you hear the waves coming in and going out. And the sand is warm, and there's these warm breezes that smell of tropical wonderfulness, right? Other people, I've had kids talk about sitting in a tree house or riding their horse, or being on a mountain, wherever works for you. A spot that you associate with having good memories and peacefulness. So with my visual imagery that I use is from a place that just got destroyed by the hurricane, St. John, down in the Virgin Islands, where the sand is white and pure, and it's like talcum powder. It's so fine, and it's warm. The sand is about 80 degrees. It's warm, it's soft, and you hear the wind in the trees, just gently rustling the palm fronds, and the waves going in and out. Okay. So that's my visual imagery that I use. And if I'm really stressed, I just go to my desert island, or my beautiful tropical island rather, and think of that. And I'll pair that, if I'm really stressed, with deep breathing and progressive relaxation. Somatic imagery basically is feelings of warmth, that your hands are heavy, your body is heavy, that your jaw is loose, your neck isn't tight. You basically think through the things that your body feels when you're really, really relaxed. And again, you can pair the somatic imagery with any of these other techniques. A lot of people now, we're doing a lot of research now here on campus, and we have a lot of people that are practicing different kinds of meditation and mindfulness, and those are also very good strategies. None of these will work unless you practice them when you're not stressed. So you do need to practice them just a couple minutes a day, once a day, twice a day, whatever works for you. And when you find yourself in a stressful situation, like taking a test or something like that, pull out one of these from your bag of tricks, and it will help you. And you can do it in the classroom if you have issues with tests, or you can do it in any situation. Nobody will know you're doing it. So these are some good strategies, but it takes practice. Oh yes, that's a picture of my little wonderful place. But the key is you can't learn to swim in a stormy ocean. So you do need to be able to practice these skills in a safe, comfortable situation. Get good at it, and then when you need it, pull it out of your bag of tricks, and it'll help you. Some other strategies. Exercise. When people are really very stressed, a lot of times they report things like running or going to the gym or swimming, as long as you don't do it to excess, are also very helpful, because it helps to expend a lot of those stress hormones that are in your body, and it also it makes you feel better. Proper nutrition is very important. If you are in a high stress situation like finals week or midterms, that's not the time. Although we all want to do it, it's not the time to eat a lot of junk food. That's really when you should be concentrating on healthy foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, a lot of water, a lot of really good foods, not junk food, not pop, things like that, because those are not good for your body on a good day, let alone when you're really stressed. A lot of times people use things like Tai Chi or yoga, and again, if we have some classes over here in the Wellness Center that are available as well. Hot bath or massage can also, help, because it's helping to relax those muscles. When your muscles get really tense, a hot bath or a massage will help to ease that. Some other healthy strategies is don't procrastinate and don't wait until the last minute to get things done, because you're basically self-inducing stress when you do those things. And that's a skill that, it's a learned skill in terms of learning how to pick out what is the most important thing that I need to get done, and the order in which to get things done, and with plenty of time to be able to be successful. So one of the things that I do in my office is I work with a lot of faculty who are extremely stressed because they're writing grants, and we're getting close to deadlines. I mean, it's like they come in with their hair on fire. We've got to get this done. I'm all, they're all freaked out. But if they had gotten it done earlier, it wouldn't have been a panic situation. So as much as you can, try to juggle your schedule, look ahead, and try to prioritize what you need to do, and it will pay off. Clear communication, since a lot of times social stress can be very, it can create a lot of issues. If you're having social issues, clear communication can help to prevent the stress. Or just clearly communicate, I'm really stressed, leave me alone. You know, mommy's tired. You know, so you can also just say, look, I'm not going to be doing really well right now. I've got to get this thing done. So real clear communication can be really important. Other healthy strategies would be to try to keep yourself both physically as well as emotionally safe as much as possible. And sometimes you just need to reframe the situation, change your attitude, change your opinion about what's going on in your life to help to reduce your stress. And that's particularly important if your source of stress is cognitive stress or social. Just do a reframe. If you can't do it on your own, of course, you can get help at Kelly Center or through professional care. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today about stress and anxiety. Coping strategies, again, if your brain is relaxed, your body is relaxed. So some of the things to relax your brain would be the visual imagery, the somatic imagery, etc. You can relax your body with deep breathing, progressive muscular relaxation, yoga and Tai Chi, meditation is also a good strategy. If you find yourself feeling tight, your jaw is aching because you're clenching, your stomach is hurting, you might be a little stressed, take a deep breath. Let it out and see if that helps to release some of the symptoms that you're feeling. If your mind is whirling and you can't get your mind to relax, work on your body. Okay, questions?
If paralyzed people can't feel their bodies, can they be, how do they manage stress?
Oh man, that is a really good question. So if they can't feel their body, what can they change about the way they think or the way they feel that could help to relax them?
Their attitude?
Well, attitude.
Positive things.
Positive things. I mean, would be a really unfortunate situation if you had that kind of paralysis, but meditation would still work. Positive visual imagery, etc. But I've never had that question.
We have a guy in our town, he is paralyzed from the neck down, and he's just never sees the negative, and he always sees the positive in things, like the things that we'd see negative, he never would once. So I don't know if it's just, he's learned that.
Sometimes people who've had an extreme experience such as that, a medical experience or some kind of a life-changing experience, will have a different,
his was traumatic.
will have a different attitude towards things after that, sometimes for the better. Okay. Any other questions? I'm not going to put anybody on the spot because that might stress you. Okay, so again, to review, some of the strategies you can do is exercise, nutrition, yoga, hot bath or massage, cognitively, time management, clear communication, making sure you're safe, changing your attitude, and then that would be to help to relax your mind, but to relax your body, you can relax your muscles, do deep breathing, take your mind to your happy place with your visual imagery, somatic injury, feelings of warmth and heaviness, or do some kind of meditation, mindfulness, which can help with relaxation. Okay. Does anybody here feel that they can try one of these strategies before midterms start? Okay, the trick is, of course, to be able to practice these things prior to when you need them. that learning how to use it does take some time. If you can just carve out 5 minutes a day, literally just 5 minutes a day, that will be really beneficial. Have any of you tried any relaxation strategies or stress management strategies that you'd like to share? Okay.
ASMR, it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
Okay, so can you define that?
You listen to funny sounds or binaural sounds, like some people like the ocean, some people just like music. I like Tetris playing over and over again. That's my weird thing.
It's has a lot of repetition.
But it's something that gives you tingles. It's called tingles. It's a tingling sensation that goes up and down your spine and it makes you relax.
Okay. What other strategies do others use? Yeah.
I like to go exercise. I don't know. It just like makes me feel like I get it all out, like of my body. Yeah. And then I also like to, well, not during exercise, but if I can't exercise, I like to listen to like soothing music.
Okay. Anybody else have a strategy they'd like to share? Yeah.
This is gonna sound weird, but I used to have like really bad asthma attacks, and so to get my body to relax, they would have me do a hypnotism CD. Not like in the manner of like somebody's hypnotizing you, but it would basically be like you listen to the CD and you would like raise your arm and you just start doing it naturally, and it would like relax your body. And I still use that CD when I get really stressed out.
Oh, great. And part of that is, especially with something like asthma, which really you feel out of control, then you start panicking, then you start having more issues. So what it does is it helps you to get more in control of other parts of your body. And then when you reestablish that feeling of, okay, I'm under control, I'm not helpless now, then you slow down your breathing, your heart rate goes down, and your asthma attack lessens probably. And so for some types of things like asthma and some other types of health conditions, it can be very, very helpful to learn some kind of relaxation strategy. So, yeah. The self-hypnosis tapes are probably, they're probably pretty close to the somatic imagery.
Yeah, it would have you picture that you had like a feather and it was like, or like balloons and it was like raising your hand, and then you had a feather and it was like lowering your arm. So it was like a lot of body movements and like imaging, like, or imagining that you were lighter or heavier to like.
Yeah, that would be definitely somatic imagery, and I'm really glad that works for you.
Yeah.
Any other strategies? Yeah.
I practice mindfulness, and my thesis is on mindfulness, and one of the articles I found showed that practicing mindfulness on cognitive tasks, they used a GRE, reading comprehension test, and their participants increased their score by 16 percentile points from before and after 2 weeks of training in mindfulness. So
Definitely.
yeah, those different strategies there, but you have to practice them, like you said.
You have to practice.
Yeah.
You know, again, remember with the fight or flight, your concentration isn't very good. And so if you're anxious or feeling stressed about the GREs or any kind of a test, and if you are feeling impacted by the stress, you may not concentrate as well, you may not do as well. Now, there are some people that claim that being stressed increases their performance, and for a certain number of people, it probably does. But for others, it doesn't. So part of what you need to do is kind of figure out how well it works for you. I've worked with students that have test phobia. I mean, they have major anxiety attacks when they take a test. And so we work on a lot of different strategies. When I used to work with students in that way, we would work on a lot of different strategies, combining a lot of these different techniques to be able to help them manage the feeling of panic. Because a lot of what happens with test anxiety is feeling out of control. You start feeling some of these physical symptoms of the fight or flight, the fluttery stomach, the sweating, what have you, and then you start feeling like you're losing control, your concentration goes down, and it just turns into this self-perpetuating cycle. So.
This is my bag of tricks. This is my bag of tricks.
Okay.
This is my coping skill.
So you have a planner?
It's a journal. Well,
and a journal?
Kind of. I draw.
Okay.
Well, like quotes.
Okay.
And journal, like I take just 5 minutes out of my day. And I started doing it a year ago,